Hey everyone, it's Nick with Us versus Herd. If it's your first time here, you like the content, hit subscribe. If you want to get notifications from when we go live or post videos, tap the bell. And if you want to join the UVH fam, links are below in the description to our Discord, our free option trading group on Facebook. And if you want to support, link is also below to our Patreon. If you're here right now, say what up. What's going on? How you doing? Happy Monday. We made it through another kind of a slow grind day. I would say we were just kind of chilling. However, there were a lot of stocks that were moving pretty good. I mean, Disney moved really well. Microsoft, Nvidia, Square. So things kind of ended up flat though for like the indices. They weren't really up that much. They were just like, I don't know. They were just flat. I mean, there was a dip, there was a gap up pre-market on SPY. Then it kind of fell apart, came back down to flat, and then just a very slow grind up on SPY. Yo, Jeff, what's going on? Rewards, how you doing? What's going on? I'm trying to figure out a good flow here instead of me looking up. I'm trying to figure out how to work my screens here. Yeah, if you're here now, say what up. What's going on, Jeff Byers? Rewards, Jeff, what's going on? Yeah, if you made money today, comment got paid. If you lost money today, comment learned a lesson. Rewards had the Disney calls. Made a bag, couple stacks. Yeah, but for me, I just I only had a couple trades on today. Started off very slow and low. Yo, Daniel, how you doing? What's up? Squids, what's going on? Got paid today on ACB. Nice. Yeah, I'll show you guys what I did today and kind of my thoughts. And then I want to cover a couple things I want to cover is one of the things that I learned taking off last Monday and Tuesday. And I also want to cover, give you guys thoughts on Tesla and Ford, and look at the Federal Reserve assets and the QE, or quantitative easing. Let me know your guys' thoughts here. So we're going to get into it. We're just going to get right into the trades. So since the market has been moving pretty slow, I've been trading very slow. Boris, how you doing? I've been trading pretty slow. I only did 2 trades today, and then I closed Nvidia. This Nvidia was part of an earnings play. It did come back. It was down. It was mainly just for protection, and I was shooting for last week for Nvidia to go down, and made a little bit of money on the put side, but on the I had a debit spread, call debit spread. I'll show you what I had here. It was 225 and the 227.50 debit spread. I was actually almost at max loss on this. That's why I left it open last week, because Nvidia opened up lower, kind of retested the 200-202 area. I did have this on for December 6th. However, I was very weary of it kind of breaking. I could have left that position on, but it gave me back some of my money. It wasn't a big position at all. And the chances of Nvidia, I think you can go into like the 220 area, I think is gonna be slim if I just ride it out. I mean, obviously the theta and everything is gonna get it. So that's why I closed that trade out. Going into Square and Boeing. So right now I am short Delta. So kind of going into, what I was saying is taking a break. Taking a break from trading, I think there's the pros and the cons, and there's two different things. Like taking a break from trading and watching the market is one thing. Taking a break from trading and not watching the market is entirely different. So last week I took off Monday and Tuesday, and like by the time Wednesday rolled around, I had a very hard time because I didn't watch the market at all Monday or Tuesday. I was out of pocket. I was gone, and I was having a hard time on Wednesday and Thursday trying to get back into it, and I didn't have very good trades last week. I just was I didn't have very many trades, but the trades I did put on were just like terrible. So, this week I wanted to kind of get back in the flow, and the best way for me to get back in the flow is really to just put on one trade, go slow, see how it goes, put on another trade if I see the opportunity, but not get all crazy with it. Don't try to like day trade. And right now, for me, day trading in this low volatility is not my strong suit. Some people can spot the opportunities just fine, but for me, the one thing that you have to identify when you're a trader is you're going to have different strengths and weaknesses than everybody else. I have different strengths and weaknesses than you, and that's just the way it is. We're all good, and we're worse off at certain things when it comes to the market, and that's just the way it is. That's why I always encourage people that you really need to, it's good to get input from others and see what other people think, but that at the end of the day, you're the one trading, you're the one pulling the trigger, and you have to come up with a strategy that works for you and work for your schedule. For me, I have a lot of time to trade. Other people, they don't. So you have to, that alone changes the formula for being successful in trading options. But getting into my trades here, Boeing. So Boeing, I have a debit spread on. I put it on for $1.10. I have this is for next week, and as you can see here, my expirations are all I'm pushing them out. I'm not trading this week. I'm going into the next week or further out just because volatility is low. Also, if you're wrong, you want to have a little bit of time to come back and see if that trade will still work out. So I did a debit spread, with Boeing. We got an IV rank of 14. I mean, right now premiums are not very rich, so that's why I went with the debit spread. 367. So I bought the 367.50. This is what this trade looks like right here. Kind of show you on the curve if you'd like, so you can kind of see what this trade looks like right in here. But essentially, I'm targeting like the 362 area, and the reason why. Let me get to Boeing. Now, looking at this chart, I mean, we had a crazy week last week, had a lot of momentum. Most of it came in one day and then it kind of faded, and then it just started to have a slow grind up again. And Boeing had that 737 MAX news where the CEO said, hey, we're looking to get back into production in January. However, news came out over the weekend, or was it Friday, that the 737 MAX orders are down, obviously. So the stock is kind of reacting towards that. But more of like a 1 year play on the 1 year chart. What I'm looking at here, it's been having some difficulties in the 375, pushing to 380 recently. So that's kind of why I went short on it. We have a low risk, and when I am shorting right now, I'm doing it very low risk. Like, you don't want to just start to short and get all crazy with it and be like, oh, I 100% leverage my account into shorting the market. When we have, we'll kind of cover this with the Fed and the QE in a second when we get through these trades, and the powers that be, Boeing has a very high institutional holding, so they're not going to let it tank. That's why if you look at like Boeing's chart over the last year, every single dip has been bought. I mean, it got bought down in here, got bought down in here, got bought down in here. I mean, every time Boeing sells off, it recovers. I mean, it hasn't recovered up to 446, but it's basically going back into like the mean or the middle of where it's been trading. The key point is you have a lot of time and you don't overtrade. Yeah. Yeah. If you have a lot of time, you don't want to overtrade. I've overtraded many times, and sometimes it works out, but most times when you overtrade, you regret it. Work at 7 a.m., 4 p.m., always trying to squeeze in some time for a trade. Yeah, I mean, that's why I think like spreads and stuff are always good for people that don't have a lot of time, because spreads you don't have to monitor it, and you don't really have to hit exact targets. You just need the stock to move or not move, whatever your goal is. So I'm looking for Boeing to kind of come back down to this area, 362, 361 area. is my target. And also, it did gap up today and just sold off, and it just kind of sat here the rest of the day. So on that position, I mean, what is it worth right now? I'm down $5 on it. Put it on. I have it on for next week. So we'll see what happens. If this tries to make another push to like 375, could run into some trouble. But right now, it's been pretty much pinned here. I tried to go above 370 a couple times. It got smacked down. So. Right now that trade is looking okay. And then I have a Square trade on. Now this one's a strangle. I have the 65 put and the 68 call. So I would say pretty tight strangle. Cost me $1.65. And here, I mean, premium was cheap. And find that I was getting some pretty good deals. And this was a bearish strangle. I was actually playing on Square that this is going to kind of revisit the 62 area. It's pushed 66 a few times in the last couple of months. Each time it's got rejected. This time it could push through. That's why I did add the call, because if it does push through to 67, 68 area, that 68 call is going to get triggered. I feel like that'll have a swift move to 70, and everything will be okay in regards to Square. So that's why I have that 68 call in there, and it only cost me that 68 call. It only cost me $58. So 50 cent, like for protection, I try to have like a 50-cent protection in there for if the trade goes against me. When it goes against me, I either try to get out with a small profit or break even. Hey Ariana, how you doing? So I'm bearish very short term on Square. I mean, they had good earnings. They just didn't do anything. Wasn't enough to cause a breakout. But right now, I mean, this could break out, but I'm kind of leaning towards it coming back down to like the 62, 63 area. I'll probably sell at 63. I'm not gonna try to push this all the way down to like 60 or anything. So I do have till next week on that. Down $8 currently on that. It's back to where I bought it. The one thing that I will say is pretty interesting about Square is that trade I put on, what time did I put that trade on? I put that trade on at Square at 10:57. So 11, let's just call it 11 a.m. Central. So I put it on right in here. And I thought it was going to fade back down, possibly, maybe even hit 65 today, which it didn't. And we slowly grinded up. However, as it was going away from my strike, so I had the 65 put, and then I had the 68 call. So as it was going away, it bounced almost 50 cents here. It bounced actually more than 50 cents. It went from 65.75 up to 66.38. So 50-60 cents here. It bounced up, and I was basically break even. So that's how you get good pricing with the strangle. Is that the interesting thing? The puts weren't really losing money, which was kind of interesting. So we'll see what happens. This did sell off into power hour. So we'll see if we try to push this in the next couple of days, down to 62, 63. I'm curious, why does Tastyworks not have daily high and low indicator like TOS? So Ariana, I don't know if you've watched Tasty Trade at all, and if you know about Tom Sazanoff. I mean, they developed Thinkorswim, and they sold it to TD Ameritrade for like $700 million, right? But the problem is what they didn't like about Thinkorswim, it became this ginormous, big, bulky software. So for option selling, which they do, which Tom mostly only does, is sell options. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him do a debit of anything. I mean, I don't think he's ever bought. I'm sure he's bought options, but I don't see him do a debit trade very often. But what they did with Tastyworks is they wanted it to be the fastest, most streamlined platform. And Tom, the reason why the charts are so bad is because Tom doesn't use charts to trade. He relies on standard deviations and formulas and all that. He relies on being within the expected move. He usually sells them like, one standard deviation out, or he tries to get like, 20 delta, 15 delta, something like that. And that's where he focuses on. And he doesn't really, he checks the 1 year chart, but that's why you can't have all these fancy things in Tastyworks, is because since they don't trade that way, he doesn't think that people want them or need them. So that's why. At least that's what he's explained it to. Like, he doesn't think a chart is important. Day traders think charts are really important, but he's not a day trader. So that is why. But yeah, that wraps up for my trades for today. The one thing I do want to talk about is, what do you guys think, before we get into stocks, what do you guys think of Tesla? Was down a little bit today. I wanted to buy the dip on Tesla and I didn't, because I was kind of afraid. I mean, if you look, let me show you guys on Tesla real quick. The reason why I didn't buy the dip is, you buy the dip like when it's up here. If it came back down to 320, maybe buy the dip, but it wasn't like a big dip. It sold from 352 down to 346 and came back up to 350 for the close. But right now, like I said last week, I think that Tom stated way overcomplicated. I like to keep it simple. Yeah, like I said, everyone has different strategies for their personalities, and that's what works for Tom. Good for him. You can definitely learn from him. Doesn't mean you gotta trade for like him. Like, I don't think anyone trades here like me. I don't trade like a lot of people that are in the group. It's always a balance, But what I was saying last week is I was hoping for some consolidation here, and Tesla is doing just that. It is consolidating in here. I'm not selling premium in this. Look, implied volatility just got crushed. Ripped to those people that bought 400 calls up here, or even 380. But Tesla, Ford, they revealed that in 2020, I don't know why they call this. What do you guys think about this? They call it the Mustang Mach-E for an SUV. So they're using the Mustang brand, which is their sports car brand, and they're making an electric SUV, which I guess is kind of confusing. They just want, I think with Tesla as a competitor, they want it to be slick. They want it to be cool. And I actually think that it looks pretty cool from the pictures here. The inside is pretty nice, but it does look very Tesla-ish, However, I will give kudos to Elon, where he says that, congratulations on the Mach-E. Sustainable electric cars are the future. Excited to see this announcement for Ford, as it will encourage other car makers to go electric too. And I think that's important to understand, is Elon wants, and that's why he allows other people to use Tesla's patents. He wants gasoline to go away. He wants EV and electric vehicles to take over. And I think he's been open to competition as well for, Mercedes, BMW, all those people. The one thing that Ford has been getting, they had the Fusion or the Focus. They had an electric vehicle for that, and it failed. And I think that's why Ford is going higher. They're looking to be like luxurious and sexy versus sell me an economy electric vehicle. Most people that have electric vehicles right now, because they're higher priced, are higher income individuals, higher income families. People that buy Teslas, they're not looking for $20,000 or $30,000 vehicle. They're paying six figures, $80,000, $60,000 for a vehicle, which is more of a higher income individual. The stupidest thing you should see Ford. Basically, they offended a lot of people with the name. The car itself isn't terrible. Yeah, I think the car looks. I don't know why they named it the Mustang. Like, why would they do that? Now, if they made like an actual electric Mustang, sports car, then I can understand. But they made it SUV, so that's why I don't understand. Like, okay, it looks like you have a pretty good product, nice to come to market, but why wouldn't you just call it something else? Like, call it the Bronco. Call it the Bronco EV. Unless that's got a bad rap from OJ still. I don't know. But I think they're supposed to bring back the Bronco anyways, right? At least that's what I heard. I mean, I think that's what I saw. But I think they're gonna bring back the Bronco, but maybe I don't know. Or and I feel like the brands like they have the Escape, they have the Explorer, they have the Expedition. I guess that didn't really. I think they were trying to get away from that type of thing because those are kind of like old and tired. But I don't know what the Mustang name is really going to add to it. I don't think, in terms of competition, I think that actually OJ sold a lot of Broncos by doing what he did. Yeah, I can see that. I'm sure he did. Um, so I don't know. I don't know why they did that, but Tesla is set to reveal its Tesla pickup on the 22nd, I believe. Elon put out some. Where's that? Somewhere in here. Looks like he's back on Twitter. So it's good news. Good news is we got Elon back on Twitter because he said he didn't know if it was a good platform and he went dark on it, but can't see where it was. But they're supposed to unveil the here we go. Cybertruck unveil Thursday night in Los Angeles. So that's gonna be big, and I guess it's expected to be under $50,000. I mean, I'm guessing that's just gonna be the base model. I mean, with the add-ons and stuff, you're probably gonna be looking at over $50,000. I mean, for any pickup truck right now, you're looking at roughly, $50,000 to $75,000 for a pickup truck that does anything. And I'm guessing if Elon's gonna reveal what this is, I don't think he's going to be putting out a crappy product. I mean, it's probably going to tow a crap ton. It's going to be able to do a lot of different things. I don't think he's going to just be like, oh, this one, you could just put your Christmas tree in it and it drives 10 miles. I think he's going to bring something to market that's pretty good. So might be a good time. So now that Tesla might do this tomorrow, kind of thinking about it, maybe a debit spread, for next week expiration. If we can get Tesla to open up around 350, maybe do a debit spread or a strangle. Maybe I'll do like a maybe something like this for next week. Risk reward 200, 215 for max profit 285, or maybe just keep it tight, very small. Or maybe go something like this. Or maybe push it out another week. Maybe push it out one more week, 18 days, see if it will go up. Because it does look like it's going to consolidate here, so that's what I'm looking at Tesla. I didn't make a move on it today just because I wanted the dust to settle and see kind of what was happening. If it did decide to downtrend, like I said, I only wanted to make a couple of trades today after taking some time off and just trying to get acclimated to the market again. The other thing is, people keep wanting to short. And I did bring this up earlier in Facebook and on Discord. But what's interesting to me here is the Federal Reserve, they said that they're not looking to cut rates and they're just looking to maintain a holding pattern, right? They're just looking to chill. And meanwhile, while they're chilling, the assets of the Federal Reserve are, talking about all the repo and all that stuff. They're pumping money back into, repo in the market. And, after it declining, and it even says here, reflecting the FOMC's balance sheet normalization program that took place between October of 2017 and August 2019, total assets declined to under 3.8 trillion. Beginning September 2019, total assets started to increase. So what's interesting is we haven't had a red week since they started to really pump this. last 30 days. You know, we haven't had a red week. I mean, let's take a look. Let's take a look. So we haven't had a red week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going on 7. We're going on 7 weeks green. 7 weeks green. So if we go back, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So October 7th, October 4th through the 7th. So they started it back in September 18. September 11th to the 18th had a huge bump. And then October 2nd, in October we had a slowly trickle in, and now from October 23rd to November 13th we had another huge increase. So, I mean, what are you guys thoughts on the Fed pumping this up? So they cut rates, and they've basically reversed course. If you're looking at, you know, the year to date, they're back up to where they started a year ago. A year from January, they were at like 4 trillion. Now they're just right back above 4 trillion again. And, you know, I mean, was all that for nothing? Like, that was that like an experiment? You know, now we were holding from 2014. From 2014, we were at like 4.4 trillion through 2018, until we started to have, you know, remember that whole Janet Yellen thing was when she wanted to have a reduction of the balance sheet, and, you know, obviously that pissed off Trump because the market started getting kind of crazy. And now we're back into pumping the market again. And ever since they started pumping the market again, the market hasn't been going down, and we've had a very slow grind up. It's been very boring. It's been a slow grind. I mean, tech stocks have been moving today. I mean, Disney was moving, but overall it was just kind of a slow grind up. So that's, I think that, like, if it doesn't matter if we short or if we think it's going to be bearish, whether the numbers are. If they keep pumping like this, I mean, we can go up for a while. And also corporate buybacks. I mean, I think a lot of companies are still having buybacks. So if buyback stop and the Fed stops pumping, I mean, what's going to happen? All right, any stocks you guys want to look at here? Enough of me ranting and. Jeffrey, the tweets. Yeah, I mean, have you heard about these two stocks, KRTX and MTZPY? Let's see. I have not. Looks like this one has no options yet. Huge volume on the weekly. Let me change it to daily. Whew. So these people get. So I'm guessing they're a therapeutics company. They had some FDA approval or something. MTZPY. Mitsubishi ADR. So yeah, I don't know what caused them to go up. I don't really follow Mitsubishi. I don't really trade ADRs in general. But I mean, that's pretty crazy. 51%. So did Mitsubishi have some sort of deal with somebody to kind of push them out of that range? Cat, I don't currently have a cat trade on. I did close. I think I closed. When did I close cat out? Was the last time I closed cat out? Let me see. Let's see here. Cat. So I had the one. So I haven't had a trade on. So I had the October 25th cat I actually lost 50% on them. I had the 132 puts and I sold them. I bought them for 59 cents and I sold them for 23 cents. I haven't had a Caterpillar. I haven't had a Caterpillar position since October 24th. So I haven't traded them in about a month, almost a month. And it was a loss. So it's probably why. It'll be interesting to see how long those batteries last in Ford and the rest of the competition, because Tesla battery, $10K, that's rich people cars. I doubt there'll be $10,000 electric car for the average Joe. Yeah, I mean, I think the average people, like the average Joe, I think the main issue right now was like charging it, and Tesla has a pretty robust, infrastructure for charging. But for everybody else, like if you buy a Ford or something like that, where can you charge it? Do they let you charge it at work? Probably not. Do they let you charge it? You're gonna have to charge it at home, so they're gonna have to figure something out with the battery. Overstock. OSTK. What do you guys think? Do you guys think we're gonna get a Santa rally this year, or are we gonna have another Red December like we did last year? So Overstock, they ripped up. Didn't Overstock say they were gonna have like their own crypto or something? But then like everything just fell apart for them. The crypto world fell apart. I think they lost their CEO as well, right? So I mean they're coasting at the low. They just hit a new 52-week low the other day. Let's see where yeah, I mean this looks like it's just gonna go lower. I mean this is a multi-year low. I mean Overstock. Let's see here. Last time, I'm trying to go back here. Last time it was like $8. It's been a long time. So this is an all-time low. I think the other all-time low was in 2016. They broke 10. They were like 9. So they might go out of business, honestly. This is an all-time low for Overstock. So if you're looking to trade options on it, just short them pops. That's all you can do. Not great volume on some of this stuff on the monthly. Weekly's okay. Monthly expiration is not looking great. A lot of open interest, just nobody's trading it. Yeah, I think, Jeffrey, I agree. The stock is probably going to $5. They looks like they didn't have good earnings. Yeah, they were expected to lose 68 cents. Instead, they lost 89 cents. I mean, it's probably going to $5. I mean, not a bad trade if you want to buy some $5 calls for December. Actually, you want to go further out, probably $5 calls buy these for January. Get them for like 10, 15 cents and sit and see what happens. Let's see here. The market is completely detached from the reality. We already had a 3-bank bailout. How about they're trying to bail out the student loans. That's what they're trying to do for the next election. I'm good for bailing things out, but for people that work hard and all that. But I think that the student, this is my opinion, of course, and I don't have student loan debt, so this is definitely, but student loan debt and getting a student loan is a choice. I chose not to because I didn't want to incur that debt load, and I didn't, my parents weren't going to be paying for my college. I didn't have the money, and if I was going to invest that money, I instead invested it into myself, into my business, versus investing it into school. But you also have to be able to learn on your own if you're going to be going like the entrepreneur route. Obviously, you need to go to college to become like a doctor or lawyer, dentist, stuff like that. You have to go to college, of course. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, that was their choice to take on that debt load. It's not like you can rack up hundreds of $1,000s in credit card debt and hope to be forgiven for that. They're like, hey, it's your choice. You spend all that. I mean, it's tough. I don't think there's an answer, but I don't know if bailing out, because then it, like, what happens to all the people that spent all that money who paid for their kids, or people that just recently paid off all their student loans? I mean, that's not really that fair, right? So, like, let's say, oh man, I paid off $100,000 in my student loan debt, and next year all these guys were forgiven except for me. Then I'm down. I could have used that $100,000 for a house, and it could have boosted the economy that way. I guess if you're going to do that, you got to cut it off someplace. But if you're going to do that, if you're going to, through the student loan debt, I mean, I don't think it's going to fix anything, because then people are still going to go to school and people are still going to take on more student loan debt. I don't think that fixes anything. I guess it kind of wipes the slate clean for right now, but it's still going to be a problem. The colleges are still going to charge what they're going to charge. People are still going to go there. So I don't think that's going to fix the problem. I mean, it's going to help out some families and individuals who are on hard times, and I get that. Maybe you have a $50,000, $80,000 student loan debt, and you're getting crushed, and you don't make enough money in your job to cover the payment plus the cost of living. I get that, but if looking forward, you solve the problem for today, but moving forward, it really is not going to solve anything, because all those people are still going to go to school. All those people are going to take on new debt, and it's still going. The machine is still going. You'd have to stop it from the school down. Like, why are the schools charging that much money, and get them to reduce the cost and get people to actually go to school, or have some sort of federal programs to get people to go to college and make sure it's worth their while. The worst thing that people want to do right now is go to college for 4 years, spend all this money, and come out and land a $30,000 a year job, and they can't. I mean, what do you do? So, I mean, I don't know what else. I mean, there's pros and cons to it. Prodigy, no worries. You can always hit the rewind. We're here for you. We're here for you. So, sorry, I got distracted. AXP. Oh, Walmart. Prodigy, Walmart. Sorry. And then I'll do AXP for King Odin. Walmart, I did trade earnings last week. Today it had a huge pump. And I say huge, this is big for Microsoft. Normally it doesn't move like this. And as you can see, it just chilled the rest of the day, just burning premium. So on Walmart, you really have to take your position off when it's moving, because it really inflates those options, because you really get killed in here. They really smack you down, because Walmart's not really a big mover. But what's interesting here is this 118 bounce. It bounced here today. It's been bouncing here like the 118 mark. However, the range is very tight. Yes, it opened at 125.38. It bounced up there. It opened at like 124, went up to 125.38 when earnings came out, but it's back into this small range between like 117.50 and 120. So I would be interested in Microsoft at 121.50 for me, because Walmart, from my experience trading Walmart, I've traded it a lot of times, and honestly, Walmart is a slow mover, and you either have to trade it when it breaks out, or you have to trade it like when it starts getting out of the support and resistance. Right now it's back at resistance, back under resistance. I was actually hoping it was going to break out here and move up to the 130s, but it just gravitated. It's right back into this very tight range of $2. So it makes it not very interesting to trade when it's bouncing between 117 and 120. So not a whole lot of fun. But when it breaks range is when you want to put the position on. So, yes, it could bounce today. Today it probably sucked in, but this could trade sideways. As you can see, it's been trading sideways until it broke out on earnings for quite some time, and it moves up. You gotta kind of see when it breaks range. After it dipped down below 117.50, it got back up, brought back in range, kind of trickled down, almost dropped back down, came back into range, and then went back out of range, came back into range. So, from my perspective, right now it really likes this area for some reason, even though they had good earnings, and they're probably going to have a good holiday season, I would imagine, Q4. But the question is, why isn't it getting out of this range? Why is it just stuck? No one really has the answer because it's going to do what it wants to do. Microsoft, same thing. And as you can see here, Microsoft traded between 135 and 140 since July, or since August. Actually, July. We'll just call it August. So for like 4 or 5 months straight, it was in this very tight range doing nothing until it finally had a breakout, which we are in now. So just be mindful of that. Like when buying options on like a Walmart or a stock that the chart looks like this, where you're just kind of chilling, you either gotta short these or you gotta buy the dip. Counting on that's what I did with Square. So actually, Prodigy, I did a similar trade on Square today. Is that even though Square had good earnings and everything like that, Square's been having a very hard time here at 66, so I actually have a bearish strangle on it. In case it does break out, I have the ability to profit on it, but if it doesn't, if it goes back down, I'll make more money, of course, but I'm just banking on the support and resistance here, and at 66, it's been having quite a hard time getting above, so I'm hoping it comes back down to 62. Had a nice run from 60, 62, 61, up to 66. It did get above 66 today, but got smacked down here into the close. So it's very similar in regards to that. Mateus AXP. Are you still here? Sorry. American Express. I mean, this is another stack that I think they were just getting like stopped out here. I think that it's probably going to go down to like the 116 area. So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'd be looking at on American Express. I truthfully believe the market leaders are pumped their own stock each day. They're sending the money over to the market makers and utilizing this stuff. It's not just the Fed. I agree, Ariana, but like I said, it's the powers that be. Not just the Fed's just a small piece. And I think what Trump has a hard time understanding is that his piece compared to the overall market is very small. Like, presidents don't command that much over the stock market. They take credit for it, but they don't command that much power. I mean, the biggest thing he contributed was the tax cut, but that's already run its course. So what is he going to do next? He doesn't have the ability to cut rates. He doesn't have the ability. Trump did meet with Powell today, so I'm sure that went well. AD&T. I haven't traded this stock. Not really much volume on these. Bid in the ask, not terrible, 10 cents wide, not too bad. But yeah, I mean, from like a support and resistance, I mean, I would like it more down like the 19 area. If it can come back down to 19, not saying it can't bounce from 20. It looks like it wants to bounce from 20 here, but I would be more inclined to get something around like the 1950 area. HD. So yeah, HD, I was actually looking to put on an earnings trade on HD, and I didn't just because the premium, we're at all-time highs here. I was looking to do an Iron Condor, kind of what my trade was. I'll show you what it was. Might even still have it in here. Ivy rank was only 26. Yeah, I still have it in here. And at the time it was going for like $1. Now it's at 95 cents, but I just didn't really like the risk to reward here. Very tight, and I'm pretty sure that Home Depot is going to do well. And this could, one of the reasons what I did like about it trade was that it has been running over the last week. So when a stock runs a lot, sometimes during earnings it just kind of lays flat and sits there because it already ran pretty hard and that's already priced in. However, this could really pop here at the top of the range, which is why I didn't trade it. But I will be looking to have probably a day trade on Home Depot tomorrow after earnings come out, and whatever direction is trading in, I'm going for it. Snapchat. Yeah, Snapchat has been really resilient around this 13 area as of recent. I mean, I think that we really need to break above. I would say let's try to get to like 1550 to try to run it to like the 16, 17 range. But right now it's just a slow mover. I mean, their earnings, their earnings weren't that good. However, it looks like it's trying to bounce back up. So, I mean, Snapchat, kind of like Twitter, you kind of have to be patient on the days it's not doing anything and load your position up, and then the days that it explodes, you make a lot of money, and then you take the profits. From my experience, that's for like Snap and Twitter, that's where I've had the most success. Is when the stock is laying low. I mean, today had a pretty epic comeback. Up 5%. This is pretty nice, but in these days right here, like in these days, and it gets kind of tricky too. So like if you loaded up when it was like in the 14 range here, when it was just relaxing, just chilling, the problem is a lot of people thought it was consolidating to move up. And what happened was there was a fake out. It dropped down to 1350, probably stopped a bunch of people out, then only to rip back up to where it was. So, you got to be careful. This was definitely a fake out. It was chilling here like the 14 to 1450 range. It broke down to 1350. People probably exited like, oh yeah, we're going to 1250 next. We're in trouble, only for it to reverse and take those people's money. So you just be careful. Yeah, if you got the 1550 call, I would just say, hope you have some time. This could move up quick, but it also could take some time to get up there. So just be careful. Just be careful with Snap. Like stocks that are trading below $50, you really want to give it time on the options contract. You don't want to just be like, okay, I'm going to trade the $16 contract for this week, because the chances of it getting there, it could. The chances of getting there are not good. Kind of like Teva. Teva have been having success with it. It is finally breaking out above resistance here. We're back. It closed above 10 2 days in a row. So we'll see what happens. I actually almost put a position on here, but I was like, well, if this comes back down to the lower 10s, might not be that good, because Teva sort of does that to you, where it looks like it's going to move back up, and it actually drops another 50 cents. So, but Teva held up really nice today, so I'll be looking at a position in there as well, probably in the next couple of weeks. But I'm thinking it's pretty free for the 12 area to move back up to 12. Yeah, this stock is laying low as premium. So yep. Thought on Snapchat and Teva for long-term stocks. Good to hold. I'm long-term. I have long-term holdings on Teva and Snap. So I do have them on my long-term. I have stock. I don't have options on them. Stock, but I do trade Teva I do trade Teva options quite a bit. I wouldn't say like a lot, but yeah, LK. Yeah, someone was trading it today in our Discord. Made 100% in like 20 minutes. So Luckin Coffee. I've just been kind of staying away from Chinese stocks and trying to figure out what to do with it. Because right now it appears that the trade news is not really having much impact on the market, and things are kind of staying low. Baba, Nvidia, not having a trade deal is no longer hurting it. So, looks like they had good earnings. This is just like an after earnings run. So this is nice. Let's see here. Yeah, volume's pretty good. So I might be looking at a trade in here, seeing what it wants to do. I don't like to trade these types of breakouts. I'd be more inclined to put on like a strangle on. But for $28 stock, I want premium to die down a little bit. So maybe I'll sell some premium. Maybe I'll sell some premium in here. Maybe sell some premium in LK. Might be a better bet than trying to time it, but What's interesting is Looking Coffee is an ADR, but they have options trading on it, which is kind of crazy. So I don't like I said earlier in the stream. I don't like for Mitsubishi. I don't really trade ADR like Adidas. I don't trade that ADR. I don't trade Mitsubishi. I haven't traded Luckin ADR. Just because ADRs, I mean, they're basically ADR. What an ADR is like it's an instrument to trade stocks that are on a foreign exchange. So that's what it's not actually owning like Luckin Coffee stock. Got in shop this morning. Oh yeah, I was gonna look at. I actually brought that up today in the Discord. Shop had a tremendous move, couple moves today. Went from 312 almost up to 320, and then it consolidated for a while, and then pushed up again from 319 to 325. So I was actually looking for a position in there as well. Let me. So I was looking at Shop as well. So for tomorrow, I have some good stuff on my watch list. I feel, but I think we really need to break above like the 328 area. But I mean, it's 322 now. We could definitely push that 328 area. You know, premium's a little bit more on the expensive side, but you know, it could be good for another $6 move, and then I would be cautious. For me, I'd be cautious around this 328, 327 area. But yeah, Mr. Toxic, if it does break that, I mean, 345 is kind of like the next stop, 345, 350, and then you know if we can get above 360 has been a hard stop as well, but could be good, So let's try to. I would say let's try to get to like 330 area, trade that, and then keep moving up with it. So anyways, guys, any last stocks you guys want to look at before I jump off here? We've been streaming for almost an hour, I would say, 50 minutes or so. But I think we have some solid stocks for the watch list tomorrow. You know, kind of went low and slow. Right now, it's hard to say in terms of SPY where we're going, but it seems like we're having a slow grind up right now, starting to have a breakout. We might, based on how this looks, yeah, it's moving slow, but there might just be like one bit of news could rip this up to like 315, 317. Yo, Mr. Toxic, I did cover Tesla quite a bit earlier in the stream. So for the people that have been sitting here, I'm not gonna repeat myself, but you can go rewind it and listen. We did talk about the Ford Mach-E SUV, the truck, and then kind of where its pricing is at. I'm actually looking for a debit call spread. I'm looking for a debit call spread on Tesla right now. If it can open up around like 350 tomorrow, I'm going to put on a debit call spread for next week or the following week. That's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm looking for a debit call spread on Tesla. That's my short answer. So, any playing Target this week? See, when I'm actually looking at Target as well. They have earnings, and we actually have, looking at it here, Target might be a good trade. Macy's is obviously going to be on the list. You know, retail stocks, Nordstrom's. Gap is having a hard time. You know, Target here again sitting at all-time highs. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Premium looks pretty good in here, so we'll see if we can get it. Expected move is what, $7? Not bad, not great, but we'll see what happens. But that's double the expected move. Then you know, Home Depot's a $204 stock, and the expected move is $7. So you know, I might sell some premium here. I'm guessing Target's going to beat, and they're going to be moving up. But this also might be priced in at this price, so I actually might iron condor it. But yeah. Anyways, guys, you know, as usual, stay safe, stay green. Let's get these trades. Have a good day.